Everybody, welcome back to Final Resonance TV and episode number 30 of Musical Journeys. Today, my guest is Link Detten, and he's joining me for the very first time ever on his first Zoom, I guess, right? Is that right?
It is, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad to have you, man. And so Link has played with Jeff Cook for, 20 years?
Yeah, about 20 years. Yeah.
You've been his guitar player for 20 years, and you played with the guys from Restless Heart.
Yeah, I did 41 tour dates for the Restless Heart back 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's this really cool thing with, I saw these pictures of Brian May, the James Burton thing that you did. Now, how do you know James Burton?
An old country partner of mine, his name is Gary Bridges. We were a country duo for about 12 years.
Okay.
From I'd say from 85, a little longer, 85 to 92, 92 kind of thing ish.
Right.
I'm sorry, like 2000 ish. But we came to Nashville, and Bridge was like one of the number one Elvis impersonators in the country at the time, like in the 80s. So he hired me to play in his Elvis band, be his musical director in his Elvis band.
Okay.
And we met from there, and then we started getting Elvis's people to play with us. Bridge was that good. I mean, we had Charlie Hodge in the show. Uh-huh. We had J.D. Sumner, Kathy Westmoreland, and we had Ed Enoch and Larry Strickland, and we had like Elvis's actual people,
Right.
So he got close with James early on, kind of like I did with Cook, and they're like father and son kind of thing. And he said, "Hey, man, you want to be in James's all-star band?" I'm like, all right. Somebody lost a bet,
right?
Somewhere, but yeah, man, got the gig, and it was the most amazing 48 hours. I mean, it was like gratuitous at one point. It was like, come on.
So this is the thing that was done at the Opera House. Is that right?
Yeah, the falls off the tongue, the Skirmahorn.
Right.
Skirmahorn.
And Brian May was there.
Wow. Yeah. Right. Mr. Yes, absolutely. He was, and what a gentle, sweet, kind man. I mean, we actually hung a little bit.
Yeah.
And
he's a tall guy. Looks tall.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's like 6'4", and he's just gentle. I mean, just, very quiet, and didn't have any handlers or anything. He was kind of by himself, and no entourage. And it was kind of cool to see everybody in that setting. Everybody's really happy to see each other. Everybody seemed like they passed each other on the road through the years, and then getting to do that show was just special, because that lineup was just, I mean, it just went on and on. So.
Right. So tell me about the show a little bit, because for folks who don't know about this show, I knew about it from being in guitar circles, but tell about the show and how it came to be.
Oh, James Burton the James Burton Foundation, and James Foundation donates guitars and musical instruments to families who can't afford it, or schools that can't afford the program or whatever. They step up and get these things and music into these people's hands, but he's been doing it for years. So to be a part of that, I did a thing with him in the studio about a year ago, and for his St. Jude thing down in Louisiana, Shreveport, where he's from. And he did and it wasn't me, but I mean, I was just part of it. happened to be in the video, and he and I were doing a duet. It's on my website.
Yeah, I've seen the video. Yeah, it was cool.
And yeah, man, it was just sitting there with, it's James, it's just,
right.
Yeah, it's like a soccer shoe and then a hammer. It just doesn't make sense sometimes.
That's cool. Legendary, man. That's insane, right? So who all else was in the show besides Brian May?
Skunk Baxter.
Yeah.
Steve Cropper. Paul Schaefer. His B3 broke down, and we sat and hung for about 45 minutes and talked. We had a mutual friend in Nashville.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And, when he was back in his Bette Midler days. And but yeah, man, it was just standing back. It's Sammy Hagar, and then Mickey Dolenz, and then Albert Lee.
Right.
And it's like, and Jason Sheff from Chicago, and it was just ridiculous,
That's a
Vince Neil was there.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Vince Neil sang, I think, Heartbreak Hotel, I believe.
Wow.
But anyway, Yeah,
So,
man, it was just a melting pot.
so was it all Elvis songs or?
No, actually, it was attributed to James's career because he's played for everybody. I mean, Glenn Campbell. I mean, he's played for the Million Dollar Club. Carl Perkins.
Right.
Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, you throw a name and James has played for.
Right.
So
Right.
like on over 500 records to his. I mean, just jingles and commercials and huge. I mean, just amazing stuff. What a career. But everybody came from all over the globe to come see him. So
James from Jackson, Tennessee.
nice from Shreveport,
Okay, I was for some reason I
Louisiana.
thought there was some connection with Jackson, but okay, Shreveport. Cool.
Yeah.
So, what did Brian May play? What song did he do?
He did an instrumental of his called "Last Horizon,"
Uh-huh.
and which is beautiful.
Right.
And he played on 25 or 6 to 4. Can I bore you with a quick story?
Sure.
Okay. My non-grooming moment. He was sitting there watching. I was there with Restless Heart. We were doing a tribute to Glenn Campbell because James played all over Glenn's stuff for many years. Right. So we're doing Wichita Lineman, and we're doing Gentle on My Mind, and then we finish out with Restless Heart. I'll Still Be Loving You. So, and the whole time Brian's center of the arena, sitting by himself, and I'm like, dude, go to lunch. You're killing me. I turn around and touch Skunk Baxter. I'm just trying to focus here. So we break and go to lunch, and we come back, and he's in the middle of 25 or 6 to 4 with Jason, and he knows the one. He knows that part, but he doesn't know sitting cross-legged on the floor, the breakdown in between.
Okay.
And the climb back up. He didn't know that, so he turned around and with big saucer eyes, and and I go, F. I just screamed an F, and I go, C. And I go G, and another F, and that's it. There's only 2 sections, sir. And he went, thank you, and I'm like, so he goes back, he does his verse. That part comes up again. He turns around with his eyes real big, and I go, F, C, G, another F, and that's it. There's only 2 sections, sir. That's it. And he was like, thank you. And I'll send you a clip in the show where he turns in the show. He walks up to me when that part comes up during the show. It shows me that he remembers the chord, and it just blew me away. Just like staring right in your face, and I wish the camera could have seen his face, but it was hysterical.
So were you a fan when you were a kid too?
I'm deep cuts guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you?
Oh yeah. Which songs did you like in the deep cuts?
Oh man, I always loved In the Year of 39. I always wanted to do like my own little version of that.
Right. It's great.
I'd like to record that. I really would. That's such a cool song, or lazing on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, right.
A lot
of people think it's crazy, but I love Bicycle Race.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Oh, I'm telling you, News of the World. What an amazing record.
Right. No doubt. There's some amazing stories behind that.
Good. I mean, it's like Tom Scholz or like Steve Lukather, Eddie Van Halen. When you hear Brian, it's Brian.
Right. No doubt.
It just sticks.
Right.
How was
that being on stage, hearing that tone right from his hands?
Buddy, him and Walsh, their rigs were side by side, and they about straightened my teeth out. I'm telling you, and they both had open backs, and I'm like, oh,
right.
And when me and Jeff King standing next to me, Jeff played for everybody, Reba and Brooks and Dunn and stuff. When we all hit that E chord on Rocky Mountain Way, I got to send to you, by the way, sometime. I'll send it to you. It's like a 6-minute lesson that Walsh gives the entire band on how to play, how he wants us to play Rocky Mountain Way. Okay. And it's hysterical. Wow. It's hysterical how he explains, Mr. Drummer, okay, Mr. Drummer. Just the cadence of his voice, it was very nasally. Okay.
Right. You know what? I heard a song of his last night, and I was remarking about how his voice cuts like that, has that nasally cut. That's distinct thing he has.
Oh, exactly. That makes him Walsh.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's one of those voices you immediately know.
oh, absolutely, and playing too,
Oh yeah, yeah, they're
and playing. Even on an
amazing.
Eagles record, you can always pick Joe out of that. If they're doing a twin thing, you know what Joe's doing.
Right on.
You
Wow.
know,
So they
you
had
know,
a AC-30 and what else? What was Joe playing through?
something louder.
Right. Those guys are deaf. That's wild, man.
Yeah, like come on, guys! Wow. So yeah, because Brian had two or three. He had a Vox,
Yeah.
and he had a couple of them changed out. He wasn't happy with. He like walked around the stage for about 45 minutes and just kept hitting power chords. And then they brought in two more, and then I guess the last one he settled on. But
Wow.
yeah, his tone just ridiculous.
You know what? It's like a weird dream fantasy to be in the presence of somebody you idolize when you're a child, isn't it?
Oh man, I wasn't gonna German go into. Hey man, I used to have dress rehearsal at my house in the 10th grade. In the 10th grade, every Friday and Saturday night, I would dress up. My dad was an entertainer too. He was a comedian, and a comedy writer, and a singer and an entertainer.
Right.
And so he had a microphone, and then we had some my fake uncle's guitars. I called him uncle, but he wasn't my uncle. It's my dad's partner or whatever.
Okay.
But and just and put on Queen records and Elton John records and Journey records and old Elton John records back in the 30s.
Right.
And but yeah, man, and just wear those old albums out, man. Just Bohemian Rhapsody was like my first turn on to him.
Yeah, that greatest hits album was the album that I got my first Queen album, which had every great song they ever did. That it just blew me away. The variety, the depth of it. It's they're just amazing. The people talk about them in the same breath with the Beatles. That's some pretty heavy
Oh
duty.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The songs and the production, and one of the things I was going to mention to you about "We Will Rock You," the stomping part, that's so iconic, was recorded. You remember, who Mike Shipley is?
I've heard the name.
The engineer that did all the Mutt Lange stuff for Def Leppard.
Okay.
When he was young, he was on that session as an assistant, and he was part of that stomping and clapping session.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he was also the guy who recorded and mixed "Iran" by the Flock of Seagulls, which is a really
Oh wow.
crazy thing. But yeah, that Queen stuff was amazing, man. It's just still iconic.
Every time you hear it, yeah, man.
It's so cool that you got to do that. So let's talk about your career. You were talking about your dad and you got started. What was the first thing that got you interested in music? Just your father or something else?
Yeah, my dad. Yeah, he was like I said, he was a comedy writer he was a comedian, comedy writer, singer.
Mm-hmm.
He'd play in the band and then be funny, play in the band and be funny. I found you can make a career like that. I thought,
Right.
play a little bit, be funny a little bit,
Right.
play a little bit.
Right.
So yeah, I just kind of followed in his footsteps. And
How old were you when you started out, or started even?
He brought me on stage when I was 3. Of course, I don't remember, but I think probably 9 or 10 years old. I remember him calling me up, and drums was my first instrument, so I got up and played a shuffle, and a sucker for a shuffle,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. So I was like waiting in the hotel room in the Holiday Inn that he was playing, and I'd wait for that little red light to go on the phone so I could get called down to the lounge and get up and play a couple songs.
Yeah.
Get some Spanish peanuts and some 7-Up.
All right.
Back in the 30s.
Right. So you were sneaking in at what age?
Yeah, right. So
how old were you though when you were doing this?
Probably 8 or 9.
Wow. Okay.
8 or 9. Going down and playing a couple shuffles, and go back up to the room, watch Policewoman.
Right. So you get it. You're about 9 or whatever. When do you start your first band?
My first band, my fake band, was the Hellraisers with a Z.
Okay.
That was the band that I played the tennis racket in and acted like Brian May.
Okay.
But he will hope he never see you. Anyway, just kidding, Brian, but it's the truth. I played a mean tennis racket at one point.
Right. Well,
but,
we all did that.
Oh man, every Friday, Saturday night.
Right.
Religiously. Anyway, So yeah, and then moved back to Florida from California and put a band there in the 12th grade. Put a band together called Spokane. The bass player and guitar player were from Spokane, so that's what we called it.
Okay,
Spokane.
so your dad was in the entertainment business in L.A. or where was he?
Yeah. He was out in Vegas and L.A. He was Robert Goulet's opening act for almost 2 years at the Dunes.
Okay.
He did Merv Griffin. He did Fernwood Tonight. He was on Mork and Mindy and wrote a one-liner for Carson and did just a bunch of stuff in the 70s and 80s before he passed.
Right. Wow. So then you
Yeah.
came back to the South.
Yeah, I was born in Nashville, but I grew up. I stayed here until I was like 4 or 5, and then I moved up to Louisville, Kentucky, where all my relatives are, and then down to Florida, Clearwater, for about 20 something years, and then 92 came back to town for. Been coming back from 80 since 85, visiting producers and doing that Bridges of Detten, that duo thing that I was telling you about.
Right. So you go into your first band, and then you go into your first real band, which is what is that? You said Spokane.
Oh, Spokane was a high school band. My first band was called Head On. It was right out of high school. And
Okay.
it's like 35-year-old guy. He used to come over to the garage, and he knew the kid who owned the house. He played the drums, and he knew his parents, and he would come over and listen to us play. And he said, "Do you want to be in a top 40 band?" This is like 1982, and I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So in Florida, we got in a top 40 band called Head On, and just played Holiday Inns and the Brown Derby circuit.
Hmm.
Kind of 6 night a week club dates that are just not there, you know.
Sure. Sure.
Back
Getting
in the days when the agent would come out to the gig for like 2 or 3 days to make sure the PA was okay and make sure he could get some free drinks and some free booze,
right.
yeah, and some free food
Cutting your
and
teeth.
hang out for.
So
I'm sorry.
you're cutting your teeth. You were just of age then, or
Yeah, just of age. Yeah,
yeah. So you
I
started
was
cutting.
playing in clubs. I was playing in clubs in town, setting in here and there, and
Mhm.
I actually had a paying gig down on the beach for probably about 3 or 4 weeks out of a summer one time, right out of high school. But yeah,
Right.
man,
That's what for
been at
sure.
it.
It seems like a common path because I had the same sort of thing where I worked with a bunch of older guys that were established and they brought me in and they taught me all the standards, everything you could think of, and they, of course, that's all stuck with me now, and it's been really good for me overall. For the learning how to run the business, learning how to play the hits, play every generation from the '50s all the way to current, and it's a great proving ground, learning situation.
Absolutely,
And I think
really.
every great musician goes through that process to some degree. I mean, maybe not some of these people, but today, who knows what they do? But back in our day, that's how you did it. You had sort of an internship with your other musicians that helped you out.
Yeah, man, I'll stick with that. And if that's old fashioned, I guess that's old fashioned. I don't think that's old fashioned. I think that's just,
Yeah. Well, it's
you
not
know,
totally.
it's
I'm doing the same thing now with younger folks that I work with. So yeah, they're all coming up, under me doing the same thing that we did back then. I was just except I'm the old guy now.
right.
Right. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool to to ride that thing again, but with them. You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Ride that journey again and help them develop and grow and become the best they can be at what they do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's awesome. So you go from that. When do you kind of you start doing you're doing paying gigs then? When do you kind of branch out into more professional gigs from there?
Back when I moved to Nashville in '92,
Hmm.
uh, left Florida and came up to Nashville. Me and Bridge did, and uh, I just got us gigs so we could get in with folks, and we got in with some really good producers, and we got told no twice by everybody in town. It was awesome,
Sure.
and so I found out. Oh, let's see, I play for the artist. Aha, I get it. But yeah, man, it was a learning ground of just get jumping in, like you said, with people who are older, people who are great at what they do. So you can sponge. So when I
Right.
came here in '92, I wasn't exactly a chicken picker, you know,
Sure.
but I love it. I mean, I just, absolutely love it now, and would rather play that than anything else.
Sure.
But
So
but
you're
the people, the people you learn from,
yeah.
that's the key.
So your influences though when you were younger, to what were those compared to what you ended up doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was like 10 years old, 9 years old, listening to Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire, and uh, Bread, stuff like that, and all them ELO,
Right.
deep cuts ELO stuff.
Yeah. So you had
Um,
a diverse
yeah, a
set of
little bit of everything. Yeah, rocks. Yeah, absolutely. Toto. Foreigner. The
yeah.
usual.
Did you I don't know if you did this, but it was sort of like when I learned about Lukather. I always wanted to kind of be able to be like him, where you could just walk in and wing a solo, and it sounded like a record.
Yeah, right. Walk in one take and see you
And
at the catering table.
they go, that's good. And you go, what? Yeah, that's what I always thought. I thought, if I could get to a point where I can improvise and it sounds like a record, that's where I want to be. I mean, I can't be some, Brian May or Eddie Van Halen, but I could do that, maybe.
That's awesome.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
awesome.
That was
Oh,
kind
I
of
know exactly. Yeah, you walk in after lunch and you do that thing. That's iconic, whatever it is.
right. Yeah, that's something that I had always had in my mind as I was a young player trying to develop my skills in improv and in, just in general musically, was if I could get to the point where I didn't have to think so much, that would be where I'd want to be.
Oh, that, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because you can get inside your own head on stuff.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Stuff and just overthink it. And
Sure. You're thinking
you,
you're
you
stink,
can
thinking you're stinking.
well, you can just mind screw it to death. You just really can, and you just play what you feel is natural, and actually just for what the song needs.
Sure.
It's just that simple. It's not about you, it's about the song.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what that's what cats, I don't think, understand a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the things I think that's helped me is that I've been very focused on the songs. I always said it's about the songs. What we do as musicians, if we do it to the best of our ability and we do a great job with that song, it's going to be maximized. But the songs are so important.
Yeah, man. And to create a part. A lot of guys don't like the doon chang. I love that. I love playing a little bitty part
Hmm.
and making that part feel good the entire time.
Yeah,
And contributing to the song. Maybe, in just the littlest thing
yeah,
really makes a huge difference, especially in a mix.
yeah. I always,
Really.
a lot of people they'll get tired of certain songs or whatever, but I learned to just kind of like go into the detail of what I'm doing and not focus so much on maybe I've done this song 40,000 times. But I could
Right.
do it. I could do it 40,000 different times. You know what I mean? I could
Sure.
I could make it better every time. I could do something a little bit different this time to make it better than it was the last time. I always look at it like that. If I ever get whatever song it is somebody asked me to play that I played it 40 million times, it's still a practice for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's never ending tweaking, and it's never ending rehearsing.
That's right, right, right. So after that, you're in Nashville. You're kicking around and you're fighting your way into the scene. What all happens and transpires?
The first break I got was took me a year to be a sub guitar player at the Stockyard.
Okay.
Stockyard back like in the 70s, 80s, and 90s was
Yeah,
huge in town.
yeah,
Stockyard
I've
was
been
like,
there.
I mean, yeah, Clinton was there. I mean, the house band, all the boys, Tommy Riggs, and everybody in that band I've just cherished. I mean, just cut my teeth. I walked in a mullet and a whammy bar. It sounds like a really bad duo in the 70s, mullet and whammy bar.
Right. Yeah, I remember that bar downstairs. I went down there before.
Yeah, the bullpen.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
When I was younger.
So when I
Yeah.
yeah, man. So I got to be a sub guitar player there. So from there, I did a tribute show that lasted about a little over 3 years, Music Valley here, 97 to 2000, 2001 ish.
What kind of tribute was it?
It was like a look-alike. It was like a Shania Twain impersonator,
Okay.
Garth Brooks, Hank Sr. But I'm telling you, these people I've played for impersonator shows, and these people were just ridiculously over the top. I mean, the band was mostly the Stockyard Band,
Uh-huh.
and it was just ridiculous. The show was ridiculous for an impersonator show,
Right,
But
right,
and through there, I got uh, connection and audition for Jeff Cook from Alabama.
right, right.
So a friend of mine said, "You want the Jeff Cook gig?" I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, the drummer's going to come out and see your gig this weekend and talk to you and listen to you play." So I'm like, "Cool." So
So,
20 years later.
so Jeff, when this is like a solo thing, right? He was doing a solo band.
Yeah, yeah. Randy's had his own band since the beginning of or before the breakup.
Okay.
Teddy has and Cook has the Jeff Cook and the All Star Good Time Band,
Uh-huh.
AGB.
Okay. Yeah, because I know people that in that camp a little bit. I just have run across people over the years, but I found out you were part of that. I mean, because all they that cycle through the North Alabama area, we kind of cut the same paths a lot of times. So I've seen Jeff on the planes, going out to Nam and stuff quite a bit. But yeah, that's cool, man. And what a iconic band. I mean, so what's that like working with him?
It's amazing. And every year we used to do a show in Fort Payne
Right.
at the Fort DeKalb Theater. We did it for 18 years now.
Yep.
So the last 2 years we didn't do it. Well, he did it the year before last, but he was like sitting. He was really tired, sitting down, and
Right. Right.
he's just what a tough man he is. But
Yeah.
but yeah, man, it's and Teddy and Owen would come in sometimes and sit in with us and through the years, and it's like you look over and it's like there's Alabama right there. It's like that just can't explain it. It's weird playing their songs, and it's weird playing all these people's songs in nightclubs and honky tonks, and then you get to stand next to them and
Play their songs.
it's bizarre. It's
I know that's such a strange. I mean, it's happened to my friend Damon Johnson, who you may know. I don't know if you know Damon, but Damon, he was a Birmingham guy, and he ended up playing with Alice Cooper. And
awesome.
And then he ended up playing in his favorite band, which was Thin Lizzy, as he was growing up. And he's from the Geraldine, Alabama, over that way too. Out in the country, Geraldine. You ever heard of that?
I have not.
It's over near Fort Payne. It's a little bitty place.
Is it?
Yeah, he was a guy that I kind of grew. He was a little bit older than me, and I grew up. He sort of was like sort of my mentor too, but business and musically too. But yeah, I watched him go through this whole period where he played with a lot of people that the same thing you're talking about. It's like, how did he end up there? Wow.
All right, you look over and I'm like, there's John Michael Montgomery, there's Joe Diffie, there's Pam Tillis, it's like all these people that
Yeah.
Just make amazing records and you find out they're really cool folks.
Oh
Especially
yeah.
Diffie. Diffie was so cool, man. Diffie was such a sweet man. Such a
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
very kind guy.
I met Tommy Shaw one time. You may have worked with him. Have you ever worked with Tommy Shaw? He's a
I have
national.
not. I have not.
He was like that too. He was super cool. He's from Alabama. He's from Montgomery. But he was it was so weird, like you said. This is a guy that some of the first songs I heard that stuck in my head was something like Renegade,
Are you kidding? Yeah, what an amazing record.
Right? And I'm like, here I am with him, talking to him and hanging out with him. And it's just like so surreal to go, that's the guy. That's the guy that played Too Much Time on My Hands. And he sang that song when I was a kid and I didn't even know I was going to play guitar yet.
Exactly right. And there he is.
Oh, it's so weird, but yeah, that's crazy. So you're in with Jeff, and you're working with Jeff, and then what else goes on during this period with you?
During that period, I started doing corporate bands, casino bands. We had three properties. We had the Gold Strike, we had the Horseshoe,
Mm-hmm.
and we had Hard Rock.
This is Mississippi.
In Biloxi, yeah, Mississippi, and
Yeah.
we had the Scarlet Pearl also.
Okay.
And we would rotate and on those three properties like all year long, plus do other tour dates. And during that time period,
So
a band called
go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
a band called Nervous Presley.
Oh yeah, that's right. You know what? Patty showed me some videos of you guys.
Yeah,
It was
sorry.
awesome. Y'all are awesome. Y'all were awesome. Oh, yeah, and you were awesome. You guys were awesome.
Thanks,
I,
man.
I remember seeing that, and that's cool. So yeah, you were just doing a lot of different things, like everybody does, right?
Yeah, exactly. Doing sessions in Nashville, writing a little bit
Uh-huh.
uh, at that time. Trying to think. Yeah, and then what happened? Yeah, I'm trying to think that what happened next. I
Right,
think it was a Wednesday.
right,
I went to Jersey Mike's.
right,
That was a good day.
right.
No, no. And I formed a band at Jersey Mike's, the substandards.
Right.
That's all I had. Sorry, that's all I had.
That's good.
So,
So yeah, you're putting together all these different projects. It's sort of like where you head to this Legends of Country thing, where you're producing it more or less. You kind of do what I do. You put together the band and you produce the whole production. You put together the whole production, and do you handle all the booking and deal with all the business or?
I do all the contract. I get the bus. I get the catering. I get the flights. Do everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. There's a friend of mine that's in the Georgia Satellites, Todd Johnson, and he does exactly what you do for them. Of course, he wasn't the original drummer, but he does all the business and does all the things that you're doing too to keep that band keep them going after all
Oh
these.
yeah, man. And yeah, the Legends of Country thing is, like I said, it turned into. I mean, they always had the frontmen of country tour,
Right.
but just joined forces with an agency here in town,
Uh-huh.
and they're looking to book us for quite a while. I mean, we got, let's see, out of the last five we've done, we got, I think, 27 more tour dates this year,
Wow, wow.
which is, a good chunk, for the rest
So
of the year.
let's talk about who's in
So,
that. That is Larry Stewart, Restless Heart.
yep,
Okay, Richie McDonald, which Lone Star, of course, was a giant band.
yes,
Little Texas, Tim Rushlow, and
absolutely.
Billy Dean is part of that too.
Well, Billy Dean is part of my Legends of Country show.
Okay,
So, and so are Richie, and so are Larry, and so is Rushlow.
okay,
But in this incarnation of this band, it's the same band, just I guess same thing, different name. I guess you would say.
front man you're talking about.
Yeah, the Frontmen of Country tour versus Legends of Country.
I
Yeah,
got I got you. Cool.
yeah, same band, same rhythm section. R.K. Brown, amazing bass player, a dear friend of mine for the last 28 years, and I
Yeah.
mean, just a legally blind bass playing, singing fool that just blow your mind if you ever heard him play acoustic guitar. Just not being a bass player,
Right. Right.
blow your mind.
Wow.
But
So you guys go
yeah,
out.
man.
You go out and do the hits. Is what I
Mhm.
saw. And man, there's some really great things I saw online. There was a military one that I saw Richie do. I don't know whether that was you guys. Is that right? Was there a military? Did you
No,
guys?
no, I didn't know that was pre me.
Okay. That's cool though. Those guys, man, they were, I played all the songs, when I was younger in the '90s. I played
I know, right?
Lone Star stuff, and I played God Bless Texas and When She Cries and all those songs. Yeah, I played all those licks. I played all those songs, and they were great songs, man. That was a
Oh
great,
man,
it was a
oh
great
buddy,
period.
when I was out with them, man, it was just, and we were recording live every night.
Yeah,
So yeah, so why don't we just make things worse?
right.
Why don't-
Red Light
uh,
Fever.
Tape don't lie.
Right, right. Yeah, we record a lot, and my bass player hates it.
It's a good thing to do, it really is.
It really is a good thing to do to look at what you're doing, make sure you're not imagining things,
You're right.
or you are imagining things. I'm not sure. So you do this comedy show with your guitar, right?
Yeah, with my acoustic, yeah, I'll do. If the folks are into it, yeah, I will throw some frivolity at them.
So what do? You mix it up, you do a song, then you do some comedy, and then you.
Do a song, do a couple bits. I do Rodney a bunch. I'll riff off the crowd too as well. If you got a good crowd going, I can, work, as my dad would say, work the room, whatever.
Right,
But
right.
if they want to play and have fun, I will, and if not, then I'll. You're gonna hear Jim Croce, by goodness, and no jokes for you.
Well, yeah, right. If they're not in the mood, you can't do it,
Well,
man.
yeah, right. This is true, man. True story.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
so you played the Grand Old Opry as well. What was that?
yeah, man. Once again, somebody lost a bet. Uh,
You slid in
got to
there.
got to play for Dobie Gray,
Oh man,
and
awesome.
and
So there you
yeah,
go,
man.
man, playing the songs that you just or that are part of history that with the
I
guy,
I,
right?
yeah. It's bizarre. It's just a blessing. I just and every time it happens, I'm just as equally thankful,
Yeah,
and
right.
still a large part of me is like, you look over and go, like you said, that's the guy.
Yeah,
That's
right.
that's the guy that came through that little radio in my bedroom.
Right. Isn't that weird? It's so strange. It's
You
like
know,
just I guess it's just meant to happen. Everybody that I know that's gone through that situation with their heroes, it's just like it's just it's amazing. But they just normalize eventually to it. It's like, oh well, he's just a regular guy,
yeah, right.
right. It
I'm so
kind of becomes like, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
A funny thing. This is a good trivia thing that you probably don't know about Dobie Gray that I accidentally tripped upon. You know that song "All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You" by Heart?
Yeah,
Did you know that he covered or he did the first version of that?
I did not know.
Right, look it up.
Okay.
Dobie Gray, "All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You." It's a totally different version than what you know from the '80s. In fact, it was a few years before, and Mutt Lange had written it, but he didn't have it. I don't think it was the finished version we know from Heart. And Dobie Gray covered. He was the first guy who recorded that song, and it freaked me out, man. I went listening to it. I was like, "What is this? No way!"
I'll YouTube it.
Yeah, man. Dobie Gray, "All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You." It just flipped me out, man. I was like, that is so crazy. So let's talk about your gear a little bit. I know you're a head rush guy, and I'm right now. I'm actually programming my Fractal FM3, which I just got. I'm trying that out, seeing how that goes. But I was always interested in the head rush, and my friend Steve Brown, who played with Trickster, remember Trickster? He's a
Ah, I don't.
Give It To Me Good, and it was in the '80s. They had a few albums out, but Steve Brown played with. He's been subbing with Def Leppard and with Dennis D. Young. But anyway, he does head rush, and so tell me about your getting into head rush.
Chemo Forrest, who's the guitar player for one of the guitar players for Alabama.
Yeah.
Uh, Chemo is my buddy of many years, and a lot to the guy for setting up auditions and making things happen, early on.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a head rush dude, and he's like, man, you gotta, because I was talked into the stomp box world, and I was in for like 3 or 4 years, and just not digging it and going through. When I was a kid, there was 6 pedals. There was
Right,
6. There was 6,
right.
not 6. I mean, you look at the case at Guitar Center, and it's like it's like that final scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where where all the cargo boxes are.
Right.
It's just like it just goes on. So he said, "Man, try the head rush out, man. It is." He knows I don't like to read.
Right.
I don't want a manual this thick. I just want to be able to turn knobs in my ears, go, yeah, then push a button, and then we go.
Right.
Can we do that? So, but the sounds, man, are just. I just left the studio with it about 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And
it's based on the 11 rack, I think, right?
it is absolutely. It is.
Yeah.
And yeah, Chemo called the head rush rep and said, "Hey, man, Link, has been free, give him my resume and everything." And they called me up and asked me if I'd like to be a head rush artist. And I was like, absolutely. So they hooked me up, and
So
Brian David took care.
So when you're doing your gigs, are you on the floor monitors, the FRs, or are you doing ears?
We're thinking about ears right now.
Uh-huh.
they're talking about it, but I haven't heard anything back on that. So we're just wedging it right now. So
Right.
I tried the FR 108 on one of the gigs, and I think I need to put it more in my. I could hear it good, but it was kind of clipping. So
Right.
I think I need a little different configuration to where it comes out of my monitor. Because I've never liked a guitar in the wedge. Have you? Do you like guitar in
No,
your front wedge?
no, I don't.
Me
And
neither.
you know what I did with I own two of those 108s. I think I told you that the other day, but I used them in stereo in front of me, two of them, and that works.
Yeah, I heard about that. So okay, all right,
Since I'm running stereo out of whichever model I'm running, I'll run stereo into those, and that's if I'm going to do that, that's worked for me really well. Two of them, yeah,
cool.
because one
I've heard.
one quite one almost like I'd get to the point of two a little bit of clipping with one.
You're right.
But yeah, I love the 108s though, man. I've got a video that I put up of us performing on them as a PA for acoustic. It's insane. They sound incredible.
I know.
I was like, this is one of the best sounding PA speakers I've ever heard, and it's this little full range thing for my guitar.
You know, right? A little 8 inch with a woofer and
Yeah,
tweeter.
I was looking for something powerful and small, and those little 108s are they're amazing. I had a lot of other things I was using, and I just dumped them. I just went straight to those and a little tiny mixer for acoustic, and I'm good to go, man. I love
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. Yeah,
They're
man.
and the price point is insane.
Yep.
Just crazy good stuff. So, what else? Is there something that you want to talk about that you're about to do that you want to promote that you want to talk about?
Well, just the Frontmen of Country tour.
Hmm.
We're going to be August 16th. We're going to be at Wilson County Fairgrounds here in town.
Okay,
So come on out. It's a Monday night. So the
awesome.
Wilson County Fair, August 16th. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Getting back to
And
getting back to normal a little bit.
yeah, man. We've done I think 5 days this year so far. Things, and then we start moving. Start in beginning of August, and then it's mid September. It kicks in, and we're gone. We're moving. So it's a blessing.
Yeah, yeah, that's
You
cool.
know.
That's cool. But I think that like that lineup you have, and it's just like evergreen. You know what I mean? Those songs will always be evergreen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and it's nothing but a night of number ones.
Right. I mean, it's just incredible that way
We,
that you got
I
those
mean,
guys.
with their catalog, we could do two over two separate shows.
Yeah, you do 90-minute shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You got those. I was watching some of those songs. And I forgot, how great those songs were. The Lone Star songs too. Then the Little Texas. Like I said, I played them all. So I played them night after night for a long time, man. So I know they're
Man,
great
me
songs.
too, buddy.
Great
Me too,
songs.
buddy.
Right, right. It's killer, man. So, so this career, you got some like tips for young people. I've got a few, like I've got some 20-year-olds, younger folks in my situation. What do you impart to younger people that they should do? When you've got somebody coming up in town that you meet, a guitar player, singer, or whatever. What kind of things do you, if you were to have 15 minutes with somebody to kind of give them tips, what would you tell them to do?
Well, first I tell them to listen.
Right.
Listen. You're in a band. There's other people around you.
Right.
Listen to them, not just you, and listen to the song, and be a sponge. You know,
Right.
just get with players that are better than you,
Right.
and yeah, and get with folks and woodshed a lot, which means rehearse a bunch. So I mean, I wish that all the time, just to keep up. I'm getting actually. James asked me to come over this week and do some picking, so I'm like, can't tell you how I'm looking forward to that.
All
So,
right. He's gonna go hang out.
oh yeah, we're gonna go hang and do some telly to telly. We're gonna do some picking.
Wow.
So yeah, it's
So
pretty
you,
bizarre, but like I said, yeah, just listen to the band, man. Listen, and create a part and be a part of it, and don't I keep going back to listen, just listen.
yeah, yeah. The wood shedding part is the part that it's sort of like a given, right? it's like, that is part of everybody that does this has to do that. And then the other part of it, I guess, from a business standpoint, since you are running this business, from a business standpoint, what would you say then? Would you, as far as giving advice to somebody that was trying to do the business part of it?
Just find out whatever your passion is, what most drives you. It's like I heard somebody, or Jason Sheff, say something to somebody. One of the mothers asked him, "How do I get my kid to play an instrument?" And he said, "You had to tell me, you didn't have to tell me to play it at all." You know what I'm saying? Right. Find whatever that passion is, find that passion. Right. And that force will drive you. And,
because like when you were young,
thought playing in bars.
Well, when you were young, though, like for me, it was seeing Van Halen on TV that kind of like made me go, "Oh, well, that's what I want to do." What was it for you, or was it one thing?
It was my dad, actually. My dad, watching him on stage, seeing him on Merv Griffin, seeing him on Fernwood Tonight or Mork and Mindy or whatever, whatever Burns and Strawberry Comedy or whatever he did. Just growing up around that end of showbiz when I was a kid, and not really realizing until later on just how big of a scope it was.
Sure.
But yeah, that I think, and my mother was a singer. She doesn't get enough credit. She was a funny lady, and a very, very funny and animated, and sang like Billie Holiday, had like a gruff bluesy voice,
right?
And taught me how to sing harmony. She was amazing.
Right. So yeah. So that's what lit the fire for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the high school band, and then getting out and getting in that first top 40 band. So somebody going, "Hey, you want to go on the road?" And I'm like, 19 just turned 20 something. I'm like, yeah, sure. Strange person with a van. Yes, let's go.
Right. So you pretty much made your living the entire time as a professional musician.
All my life, been blessed. Yeah.
Yeah, I went back over 10 years ago full time from a corporate situation, and sometimes I wonder why I even bothered with that little detour in the corporate world. You know what I mean? Because I always knew that this is what I wanted to do, and once I went back, man, it was so much easier. Everything was so much easier. This is what I do. This is what I love to do, and when I go to work,
awesome.
I love to work. It's not like if I sit here too long, man, I got to get out of here. Now I got to go to work.
Right.
I couldn't say that about my other job. I couldn't say I want to go to work, man.
Yeah, right. No, I'm going to pick up my guitar. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. I mean, how hard is that? It's just it's so. And last night, in particular, you just have those nights, man, where you connect with the audience and you just walk away going, "Wow, this is like the greatest job ever, and I get paid to do this. Yeah. This is great." And then every day you go, "Oh, what am I going to do today?" There's just so many more things to do and learn, and you know what I mean. That's just it is a gift, like you said, to anybody like us who finds that passion in our lives that keeps us going.
Yeah, man, I have the same drive when I was 9 as I do now. I really do. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I don't know what. I mean, I'm sure I could be a Walmart greeter,
a comedian.
Right. I stand in front of Walmart and do 45 minutes.
There you go.
Take a break, go to Subway, come back.
Be like, that guy at Walmart, he is so funny. He'll be standing around you in the front as a greeter. You have all these people around you. That'd be awesome.
Man, I actually, a friend of a 19, good gravy. Carry the one. Let's see. I'm going to say 1997. A friend of mine worked at a Kroger over off in Thompson Lane here in Nashville. And said, if you go play by the lobster tank in the seafood section, it was $150 worth of groceries in 1997. That's a lot of money in 1997.
Oh, yeah, right.
So, buddy, I sang by the lobster tank, my friend.
Do what you got to do, man. The kind of crazy. Well, what kind of? Give me one of your craziest gigs you've ever played that you can think of. Something crazy.
That, buddy, right there. I'm playing by a lobster tank in a Kroger. That was pretty. That was pretty. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Oh, I play. These people paid me, bless their hearts, a lot of money to drive in the middle of Kentucky somewhere, and my truck get stuck in the mud because it was so far in the backwoods, and there was like a house that was under construction in the middle of, I mean, like forest for 200 acres, and then this little bitty house, and the whole side panel, all it was just a frame up. I was in the picture frame where the drywall should be, but you can see through it. And I'm on the foundation singing, and this kid heckles me and runs up behind me and hits me in the back of the head with a bologna sandwich.
Yep, I've seen that happen.
That's true story.
I tell you what, man.
Yeah, it's the old bologna sandwich in the back of the head in the house being built trick.
I tell you what, man. There ain't no career you could be in that could give you the laughs and the adventure that being a musician does.
That's true, buddy.
Isn't it right? It's one of the greatest ever because you never know what's going to happen.
I love it. I can't wait. I can't wait just to meet the bus in a random parking lot and get on and you just go somewhere. You know, wake up and you're somewhere else.
Right? You either get a bologna sandwich in your head or you get Brian May in your face.
See, it's feast or famine in this thing.
Right? It's not. That's what I'm saying, man. That's the most insane thing ever. But it's just. I mean, that is not a boring job. I got to say. That ain't your typical 9 to 5, and I am thankful that I found a way out of that into this.
Yeah, me too, buddy. I'm happy for you.
Well, I appreciate you spending some time with me, man. I don't want to keep you all night, and I could talk to you forever, but we got to hook up sometime and play or something. You got to come sit in with us.
Yeah, man. Tuesday nights.
Yeah,
come
you
see, yeah. How close are you to TPs?
About 45 minutes. I'm close.
But yeah, man, we're 5 to 8. Come see us this Tuesday. I dare you. Come on out.
Okay.
If you're not doing nothing.
Yeah, sometimes I'm on, sometimes off. Just depends on the week. But yeah, man, I need to come down and check it out.
If it works out, man, come on.
Okay. Well, thank you, man, for your time, and I'll get this up soon and send you a link.
Oh, thank you, man.
Right,
that was fun, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you.
It was fun. Thank you, buddy. See you later. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.